Welcome back to another daily recap. Today is Monday, August 5, 2024. It's almost 8:30 a.m. Eastern as I'm making this. And what you're looking at is not the typical chart where the vertical line on the left shows the close of the previous day, or in this case, Friday, because they closed around 5:33, which is off the charts, and all the levels I had calculated this morning under my normal methods, they opened below in the pre-market, below my lowest level. But where they open, could be anywhere. They've been falling obviously for a while, and there are plenty of other levels above and below where we're at currently. But I'll come back to a chart like this. It'll be the 1 minute chart. Might be situated a little differently because we won't be looking at the pre-market, just looking at the day's activity, whatever the SPY did, and how the levels, how price reacted at the levels, and whether trades were taken. It may be good to be a spectator, just to sit back and watch. It depends on what's happening on other charts. I've got indexes, I've got other time frames, a lot of things I'm looking at just to see if there's some obvious places of support. Because if there is, and all signs point to a good tradable level, then there could be some rallies today. That tends to happen when you have preceding days where prices just fallen out of bed. They're going to find some support somewhere. But anything can happen. Just want to be careful. But we'll come back to this chart, as I said, after the market closes, and we'll talk about whatever happened. Thanks, and catch you on the other side. And we're back. It's 8:15, quarter after 8 or so, 8:16. Market closed several hours ago. So going into the day, because of all the craziness and the gap down and just a kind of unprecedented movement and volatility we've had, of course, the writing's been on the wall for a while on this, but just to the point in terms of these levels, I had the idea going into the day that I probably would not trade. I would just keep an eye on things and just sort of be a spectator, because I didn't really want to get caught in some type of whipsaw action. And it was likely. And I did mention this morning that the levels that I had identified last night and this morning were all below the where price was, it poised to open in the morning. This 524.50 was the lowest of half a dozen levels or so that I had. So I identified other ones, and it was on purpose that they were pretty spread out. And it worked out pretty well in terms of if you're playing by the rules and trading each of these levels. I can talk about that in a minute. I did end up taking 2 trades. I'll talk through that. But so after 9:45, they were above this and coming back down into 513.21. And when I say 9:45, I'm talking about Eastern time zone. It's just 15 minutes after the market opens. So for me, that's 15 minutes after 9:30 a.m. They were coming back down into 513.21. The 9:45 candle closed above, but never got back down into this level, and they took off. I already had a trade in the books earlier. I'll talk about that in a minute, but the point is, this is not a trade, playing by the rules, because they never touched the level after that time limit. But when they got up to 519.78, that could have triggered a short trade if you were willing to take it. There was a PMI data release at 10 o'clock, and that shot the market up. But playing by the rules, yes, they got out of the money a little bit here. It might not have felt very good to get in front of price like that, but it was a good level, as you can see now, and it would have worked for a base hit. So we're counting one base hit playing by the rules. And what I did, we'll just talk through it when I show the recording right now. So I mentioned I took a trade early, so it wasn't recorded. This is coming off of this zone here. They opened and they pulled up. When they got away from this level pretty strong, I just had a feeling that there's gonna be some momentum behind price, and I just jumped on board thinking I could grab a handful of points, 5 to 10 points or so. Bought at the market, closed at the market, just clicked. It didn't put any limit orders. It was very kind of impromptu and unplanned, thinking I could grab maybe up to 10 points, and it ended up being 7.25 points. I'm not complaining, but I had that before I started the recording. So at 9:44, you can see I started recording, and hoping they would come back into this after 9:45. We already talked about that. Did not happen, so that was not triggered. So I changed my plan and said, okay, if they get up to 519.78, I will sell one contract. Incidentally, I just bought one contract down here. I just didn't want to put too much money at risk, and I was going to sell one contract up here instead of 2 or 3 like I normally would consider doing. And I didn't adjust the levels. I mean, with this type of volatility, just might as well get a better price. So you'll watch them come up into 519.78. There's the order getting put in the system at that point. And I slowed the recording down. It's like 16x at this point. When it gets up to this level at 519.78, slows down a little bit just to show you. Here we go. let me back up here. This was the PMI data release that shot price up. So I'm short one, and just watch it. So out of the money, but I gave it some time, and just sticking to the rules, this would not have been anything. It's a function of time, and there's some risk involved, but I was trying to get 10 points, and that's what I got. And they came down a lot more, but at this point, having 7 points and a few ticks, and then or one tick, and then 10 points here just with little one contract trades, I thought, well, that's not too bad. It was $800 and something already early in the day, early in the morning. And I'll just move ahead here because, as you know, they just sort of hung around between these levels. They did end up coming back up into 1978 again, a lot afterwards, but it was before 11 sometime. Here we go. It's getting close to 10:39. You can see the clock. I just stopped recording and just closed up shop, because I'll take that with just one contract trades. That's not too shabby. Another visual here showing the one trade playing by the rules right here. Short trade and never hit any other levels. And this didn't count, and neither did the zone down here because it was all before that 15-minute mark. This first log is the playing by the rules log. So we just talked about the one base hit here. You can just read the notes. These didn't count. These 3 levels didn't count because of the time of day. And then the level in L8, level 8 here, was the base hit for 4 points. So there's your numbers. And I'm going to talk about something I've added up here as well. And over here on my personal trade log, same story with the 3 levels that were hit before 9:45 in the morning, and then 5/19/78 was the official trade. But I had another trade earlier in the morning, a few minutes prior to that, was not recorded, which gave me $360 something. Anyway, 17.25 point total with just 2 one contract positions. So there you go, $862.50 before commissions. And sometimes I kind of make the comment that that's a good hourly rate. I mean, this has happened before, 10 something in the morning. So, and I stopped for the rest of the day because I'm happy with that. So I've kind of started thinking, well, it's not, you can't make the case that you're making $800 an hour all day long. But I just kind of thought, what could I show that would kind of give you the idea, and it'll help me as well, just to kind of, because I like more data and metrics, to give me the idea of what the hourly rate is for the entire trading day. And since I since I start trading from 9:45 to 3:30, that's 5 hours and 45 minutes. So just some pretty simple math here. I take the daily average of any period that I'm looking at. This is a total, all of 22, 23, and 24 so far, and divide that by 5.75 to give me the hourly rate. So every single hour, that would be the average so far. And this is, compared to playing by the rules to what I'm doing. And if you want to kind of get in a little close, here's something actually pretty interesting. So check this out. So I started, you might recall that back in March, I had a pretty good, interesting day when I traded 4 contracts and 20 something points. So it was like $4,500. And I'd done this a few times before, and I started thinking, well, it's not fair that I'm not recording these trades because I don't always play by the rules. So that's when I started the second log, kind of the personal trades log, if you will. Well, that started back in March. So if I go back to the playing by the rules and just look at 24 March through current time, we'll go back up and find where we're at. And here's where you're at. This is what we have. This is all the numbers, daily averages, the average per hour, the totals based on 1, 2, 3 contracts, or whatever you can afford to trade from that point in March, just beginning of March. In fact, I'll show you both of these. So this is March 1, and everything's multiples of 4. 1, 2, 3 base hits, whatever. It's 4 points for a base hit. If I go over to the personal trades output, do the same thing. So what are we talking about here? We're talking March through August. There we go. And let's just go up to where that's at. I'll go all the way to the top. So you can see this is playing by the rules. March 1. This is the entire month of March. It starts changing around 15th, the Ides of March, where I had some points because this is what I did that day. And you can see, let's just scroll down to the next month here. Here's April. Look at it side by side. There's different trades happening, right? Because what I do is not necessarily playing by the rules because I'm getting more. Sometimes I'm going for more than 4 points, or I'm trailing some positions. So I just want to show you this because now that we have this, start looking at the averages and the totals for these last several months since I've been doing this. It's almost double. Just want to point this out because you've seen just about every single one of these trades. So this is playing by the rules. There are 96 trade days And then my personal trades are 89 trades. So I'm taking less trades, but there's higher profit percentages and certainly higher daily averages and hourly rate. So just something to point out that this is what I'm trying to convey. By the way, I'm making some headway on this course while I'm on this working vacation here. And that's something I'm trying to convey is that, yes, you can figure out how to get these levels yourself. I'm trying to convey and show reasons why you might want to go for more than just a base hit, or why you might want to trail a multi-contract position. Take half off, or part of the position off, and then trail the other remaining 1 or 2 contracts or whatever you can afford to trade for more points. And it does pay off, as you can see here. I just want to point that out because this is definitely more in line right here with what I'm used to. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for tuning in to this recap. Interesting times we're in. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for liking and subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to see more of these market recaps, just click that subscribe button. Thank you for the support. So that before the opening bell tomorrow on Tuesday, I'll have new levels. We'll do this again. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.